He's a cowboy, he's down on his luck. His pockets are near empty, he's sleeping in his truck. The rodeo next Friday, his bills are past due. How he'll pay for entries, he ain't got a clue. He's a cowboy, it's his turn to ride. He prays for 8 seconds when they shout outside. His future is uncertain, his past he can't forget.
3?
Correct.
He's a late 2-year-old. Ringo. I'm getting there, babe. Welcome back to True to Horse Horsemanship. This is Ringo, a late 2-year-old. In other words, late 2-year-old means he's coming on 3. He's been here 3 weeks, really. And one thing I appreciate Ray and Patty from Wolf Trap Farms. They don't expect me to just grab a horse and throw a saddle on. And these Andalusians, that doesn't work out good either. And he's just gilded right before he came. And I'm basically going to go through. I'm not going to go show how you introduce the saddle or none of that, because we all do that the same. And Ray will tell you, most of the time with him, I don't really do lunging, do I? You know, I'll do a little bit. Today he's a little fresh. The weather's changed a little bit, so what I did, and of course there are going to be some touchy-feely people out there who's going to just have a fit, but I don't really care. So the way I did, just waiting for Ray and Patty, I took advantage of my little obstacle here, even when he's fresh, because I want him to think. I don't care how fresh he is. I want him to think where his feet placement is. So instead of him thinking he gets to run and buck and fart and have a good time, no, he's not allowed. His good time for me is give him the release. The release one. Now Ray, I think he did a lot of groundwork with him, didn't you? So which made my job easier. I do sort of fine tune it just a tad, but with Ray's case, he's great starting these horses out on the ground. Yeah, watch where your feet's at. Between Ray and me, sort of fine tuning it. The only bad thing about it, if you notice, I didn't do none of that fancy stuff, and I got respect for some of the guys to do it, but I'll be honest with you, you don't have to. As soon as I sort of disengaged him, I took that pressure off, he disengaged his butt and he came forward. He quit. I want him focused on me that much. So now with him, especially conducted the way the weather's been, I did a lot of things I wouldn't show on the videos, because sure enough, somebody out there who can't read horses would be doing what I was doing a lot with him in the stall. So if it's raining, all I did, I just worked on his flexion. It's pretty simple. So I just put my rope there and just pick up. He gives, I don't give. Right now, I don't want him moving. I want him just to do that. Now right there, I asked for a move. Now people say, well, I try that, my horse spins real fast, so I quit. Don't quit then. The object is, yeah, the first couple times he did it, he wasn't too crazy, but he wasn't like some horses. You know, so especially if you're starting your horses, and I'm just slowly picking up my hand. And I am, you can't gauge it, you can't tell it, but I am just barely putting pressure on it. And if I got to add a little bit, I move, I just pick up my hand. And we just, so right now I'm working on two things. Controlling that hiney and his shoulder hope. Now people say, well, what do you know to go to the next step? And I got somebody on Facebook's asked me some things. If you can't do that, you don't think about getting in the saddle. It's that simple. Now I'll kiss at them a little bit, let them know. And if they're a little amped up at first, just keep doing it until they slow down. Because you're getting a whole mess of things getting done. Number one, you're teaching them to bend. And when I kiss at him, you know, he'll automatically step the shoulder over first, and then he'll move that hip. But also, especially if you want to trail ride, common sense tells you I'm getting things used to around his back feet. Now, even when I walk right now where he's at, I'm going to do things real smoothly and as softly as I can. In other words, I just want to pick up that line. He comes forward. I just want to pick it up just like that, and he comes forward. And right then I call catting him to back him up. Now, why I'm doing this, because when I brought him forward, he tried to walk around me. You want a chair?
No, I'm good. I just didn't want to get...
So I just kept blocking him off. My pet peeve is somebody start jerking the hell out of him to get him to stop. What he's going to do, he's going to start running backwards. I want to stop his feet. So all I did was just go back and forth, and then he stopped. These are little things that so many people will just forget about. Like right there, so he tried to walk by me that one time. So when I pulled him forward and he stepped here, I automatically just stepped here and blocked him. But he knows body language and everything else. A horse that likes to run you over, no, you don't want to step in front of him. Or if you do, you better have a flag on the end of a whip. So we'll just start doing that, you know. And when he gets soft like he is, then I'll start working on him backing off the halter. And I'm just bouncing him. And he backs off. Just right there, he's getting on the vertical. And like I said, unfortunately with the camera right there, that's real nice. That's real soft. I mean, I just barely had to touch him. So he's, you know, with that's a good sign, because for a horse to start doing it softly, you gotta realize this muscle group goes from here to his tail. And if any of that part of that muscle group is tight, I'd get them on a vertical, but they'd be hard, they'd be stiff, they'd be bracy. But like right there, see, I'm just basically using my ring finger to get him used to it. So, and I'm gonna get on him. And some people I've heard in the past, well, that's gonna take a little bit longer. Well, like Suka, I played with him for 30 days, and everybody go on YouTube, you see my first, I filmed him for about 30 seconds. We're not doing a fast one because he wasn't ready, but I'm doing a 360. I did a side pass as my first ride. I had a 10-year-old Mustang stud. I road drive him a lot, got him soft and everything. And the first time I got on him, and when he was doing everything. He was doing fast, nice stops, half passes, side passes, spins and everything. So I didn't lose no time. Like with that 10-year-old Mustang stud, Cindy, tell you, if I hurried him up, we'd probably never got it done. So from there, since I'm an old fart, I just used my mountain block and started getting above him. Well, I used Charlie, the stud, to work him one day, but then I just started getting over top of him. Now mind you, we've done this quite a few times, so he's not going to move. Now if he moves, let's say we're going to imagine he steps that hip out. What I see people do, they go back this, bring their horse back around, then do this again. If he steps that hip away from me, I'm not going that way. I'm going this way. I'm going to move to that hip, and I'm going to keep at that hip until his 4 feet stops. Then we'll come back. Because if I back off him, if I go that way, when he goes that way, he just took control of that situation. You know, people ask me how I teach the horses to ground tie. I'm doing it right now. I just lay my rope on the ground while I'm working. Now if I push him a little bit, yeah, I'm going to pick it up. You know, the key thing is wait for this horse to relax. Now some horses, they're not, you know, Ray and Patty at Wolf Trap Farms, and I've had a lot of Andalusians in California. I gotta say, their Andalusians are different. They got minds. Now, the 4 I've started, only one I got on in the round pen first, and that was Charlie, just because he's so dang big. But Sassy, Raffaella, who's, I guess she'd be a fury. Yeah. I mean, she's quick. I got video on YouTube, which is his half-brother, sister, I mean. So from there, all I did when he got ready, I just got up on here, and Ray said we just sit. Now what I did do, I pull out. Now riding a rope halter, your hand position is a little different. You got to pull out and then around. Pull out and then around. Now, I want to say something. I'm even going to, I was thinking about, should I mention his name? I guess I should, because he lied, and I won't put it out there. Rick Gore took tidbits of one of my videos, said, I say you can't ride a horse in a halter. That's not what I said. For safety's sake, you shouldn't ride a horse in a halter. Because let's say Ringo here, if he's spooked, I'm not going to have no control. I don't give a damn how much schooling he would have. I still not going to have control. Now, yes, I'll get on with spurs first time. Some horses I don't. So what I do before I want to move his hip a little bit, I'm just going to take my calf and bump him. I'm not using my spur. I'm just going to bump him. Bump, bump. Bump, bump. I'm going to pick up that nose a little bit. Pull him out here. Get him on the bend. Bump, bump. And move that hip. Right now, I'm not worried about, I'm going to move that hip. I'm going to let him walk around. And we'll move that hip. I'm going to start right now. I'm already starting working for that side pass and half pass because I'm teaching him to move that hip. Good boy. And right there I asked for a stop, so I sort of lifted my hand up and got away from that shoulder. So I'm going to lift my hand up, get in that shoulder, he backs off. I'm definitely going to give it to him. Now what I just did there, I just bumped him. And he backs off, we back off. This is a good little horse. Of course, like I said, I like raised horses. Good, now right there. All right, this is my, let's call it my second real ride. Right there, you see how I just moved that shoulder over? I mean, this horse don't know squat, but a lot of it got to do. I know the old timers say, and even we say it, you know, sometimes in papers is only good for one thing, but a lot of times they will tell you something about the horse. Now, with him being an illusion, it'd be real, you want to grab the Boswell brake? Please. If I pushed him too hard, you know, he's going to start prancing on me and everything else. And like Raphael is a fine example. She's a talented horse. I didn't go over there and show Ray how he can do a hard stop with her, but I mean, she can do it all. And I can get her into a nice slow trot, slow walk. But she's got a motor. And my point being, if she'd been a lot worse. I mean, it would, very few people would be able to even get on her. Because she'd be prancing all the time. And she wouldn't stand still. Well, I slipped a Boswell. People say, well, usually we see you starting in a bit. Well, a lot of times it depends it depends on a couple of factors. Number one, you gotta realize, you know, Ray and Peg gives me a privilege to go a little bit slower than I want. And I already told Ray there's a person interested in him. A week before she gets here, I'm gonna get him used to a bit. But when you got us, you know, when we're trained for the outside public, you know, all of them don't have the privilege, you know, I don't have the luxury of having clients like Ray all the time. So yes, I'll start out with a bit because that's one, you know, one thing I can skip. But with my hands, you know, I'm not going to be yanking on them and this and that. So yeah, I don't think I filmed me starting a horse per se forever. Well, this is only, haven't filmed much the last couple of years anyway. Now right there, he went to back up. I didn't stop. I'm not going to be that anal about it yet, because if I stop every time he's just shifted his weight or something, he's going to start moving. Because I'm not getting on him. I'm giving him that release. Now right now, when I'm two-handing him, I don't care about him getting on a vertical. All I want, I'll pick up my hands. He backs off, I'm gonna give it to him. He backs off, I'm going to give it to him. You know, 90% of horse training is the release. Same way, like with a rope halter, I flex them, I pull out here, I might give him a little bump. Now we're going to, I keep working that hip, working that hip. Good boy. And right there, he moved. I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to pick up, put some pressure on his nose. Good boy. There we go. Good boy. So let's say, especially in Boswell right now, if he started fighting me a little bit on the backing off the halter, I mean Boswell, I'm just going to walk him around and do something else. Like him throwing his head right now, that's a little rougher, so he's going to, and I expect it. So I'm just, you know, I'm not going to get worried about it. Good boy. There we go. There we go. You know, if you notice, he's already telling me which side he's stiffer. I mean, to the left, he follows that feel real good. To the left, he just goes with it. There, that's better. There we go. Yeah, I smiled. I felt something in this horse that I really liked. If I'm riding a horse, and even they might get stupid, But if I start smiling, underneath them being stupid, I'm feeling something that I like. So that's all we're going to do. Now what I'll slowly do, oh there we go, right there he freed up on that front end. So I'm going to let him walk out a little bit. So we're just going to go a little farther, pick up, turn. Now right there, this is, like I said, we're going to call it our second real ride. I just moved that shoulder over. Right there. See, I'm moving it again. Now pull out, he goes. Now that time you see, he pretty much went with the weight of the Makati. If you watch him, see I still got slack on my Makati and he's just going with that feel. There we go, that's better. Now, if I got so concerned about him throwing his head earlier, I said, oh no, I can't, I got to take that pressure off of him because he's throwing his head. Now what I'm doing, you can't see it, but I'm bumping him. But I'm not taking that pressure off until he does the right thing. I mean, 90% of the time, starting horses, I will say, is boring. You hope. You don't want it. If it's not boring, you're doing something, something's not right. And sometimes it's the horse. I mean, there's one guy I listened to the other day. He said sometimes he can be a year before you're on a horse's back. And some horses, hell, it takes longer than that. And a lot of times it's how they've been handled or treated. But one thing about Wolf Trap Farms, you know, they raised him, they raised Charlie, excuse me, and all the horses that they pretty much raised, they all got the same temperament. So that means y'all are doing something right. It's not just the breeding, it's the way y'all handle them from the get-go. I mean, you get them used to things, but then y'all put them out in pasture, let them be a horse until it's time to get them back up and start them. You know, I can probably get here and start walk, trot, and canter and make myself look good. But it's not going to do Ringo any good, or if somebody buys them, it's not going to do them any good. If I put that right foundation on him, I can already tell he's enough. And like when I was getting in front of him and he was going back and forth, we had this conversation earlier, he was catty. So if I want to put him on a cow, he'll be able to work the cow pretty. And after a while, like with Charlie when he was here, it got to the point where I wasn't hardly doing nothing. At first I started cueing him and everything, and he was making some pretty moves. And or like with him and like with Charlie, and me starting slow the way I am, if somebody wants to take dressage, you know, he's Andalusian, so he's going to have some animation if you ask for it. So all you do is set his head different and you ride him different. Now if I want him to lower his head, I ride loose, and he should relax and ride loose. 99%, 80% of the time, I'm going to say. You got them 10% or 20%. You can ride loose until you start asking them, then they'll get hyped up. But like with Charlie and him and Sassy and all, I mean Sassy, that one, gray horse, had a stop out of this world. But the main thing out there, people, is don't get, especially on your personal horses, make sure all your bases are covered first. And, you know, like this, there. Like right now, see, while I'm talking, I'm still schooling him. I'm just picking up my hand, bumping his nose. Now, right there, he's putting his head up, so. Now, especially when I'm riding in a Makati or something, what I'll do, and you saw me do it, I'll grab hold of my top part of my Makati, and I'll slide my hand, keep this hand here. So when I can feel the benefit of that, if I can feel him react, then I stop sliding. So if I got to put a little more, like right there, you know, and it's so, especially for novice people, that is such an easy way to get that feel when to give it to them. Because if you do it this way, you know, so many people he'll give, but of course I'm going to let go. Oh, bump, 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 bump. But so when he gets in frame, I'm going to give it back to him. I'm not going to sit there and hold him. Now, me and Ray's had this conversation. Now, farther up in his training, I want to be able to hold him in frame, but I want my reins to be loose. I don't want to be tight. And German dressage riders, they have a hard time, who's been schooled the German way. The horse gives to them, and they're boom, 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 bumping with the legs to get them really animated, but then they keep pulling back and bump some more. Now, I got to watch a French person, JP. I love watching him ride a horse. That horse gets soft on the bit, he leaves it alone. He lets his body do the rest of the work. I watched a Ukrainian gal. Oh, she was a dream to watch. You never saw her move. She set that horse up, and she would just all body, and that horse was fluid. She didn't have to beat it to death to keep it going. The horse was animated from front to back, and she wasn't pulling on the horse's mouth, and it was in frame, the back was up. So this was a simple thing, and plus good time for me, because a year ago this time I wasn't in too good a shape, and here I am back in the saddle again. Matter of fact, I'm better than I've been in a lot of years. I told Cindy the other night, my exact words, I think, it's hell feeling better. I don't like this. Oops, I forgot, I got off the wrong side. Oh well. But, nah. Anyhow, I do recommend, yeah, they're good friends of mine, and they're good clients, but if y'all looking for a horse that you want to do dressage, and Charlie, shoot, I bet you after one session, I could probably be jumping 4 feet with him. And he's never seen, but he's the type, and that's what I've noticed with all your horses. Sassy, she's a good all-around horse. She's that horse that somebody can take from, you know, to get a good start, because she's good mind, but I think y'all decided to just keep her, which I'm glad you did, poor Sassy. Nothing wrong with the horse, believe me. But anyway, they have nice Andalusians. They're quiet. I mean, you go on YouTube and watch some of the Andalusians, especially from California. Yeah, that's what he thinks about them. He thinks that is funny. Well, we could have did that on cue. But anyway, and then you watch like Charlie and him and all, they're different. I mean, they're quiet, they got a good mind, and I do anything with them. I mean, for me to be able to move his shoulder without having to get after him right off the bat like that, well, we started a little bit the other day when we was on him. But now, see what I usually do, Ray comes twice a week. If I was 40 years old again, I wouldn't worry about it. But there's plenty of stuff I can touch on. So the days that I think I like to have a certain person here in case something happens, I have Ray here. So, but now, from here on out, it's just me and the boys, I can say. So anyway, as I always say, be true to the horse, they'll be true to you. There's a lot of dead stuff on this tape, but forgive me. And to my kids, grandkids, great-grandchild. Yeah, I'm a great-granddad now. My God, I'm too young. To a special person out there that should be on the camera. Watch Daily Academy. God bless. Take care.